Bugatti just released a new Veyron in 2026. Well, sort of. It's called the FKP Hommage, and it's one of the coolest hypercars of all time. And here's why. Now, to understand the significance of this car, we have to rewind to the 1990s. And it all started with Ferdinand Karl Piëch, FKP. At the time, he was CEO of Volkswagen Group. He's an engineer by trade and has worked on cars like the Porsche 917, a car capable of going 240 miles an hour back in the 70s. Now, in the mid to late 90s, FKP was on a bullet train in Japan, and on an envelope, he sketched a drawing of an 18-cylinder engine. He just didn't know what to put it in. Well, fast forward a couple more years, and he's on vacation with his son, who in a local shop finds a little toy car. That toy car was nothing other than a Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantique, one of the most beautiful cars of all time. And it occurred to him, what if we put this engine in a Bugatti? Now, because the EB110 project was so costly for Bugatti, they were essentially going bankrupt at the time. And FKP was able to purchase the brand for $50 million in 1998. Which sounds like a really good deal, but it was only the branding. He didn't get a whole bunch of manufacturing equipment and parts, so on and so forth. He had a serious vision. Fast forward to 2000, and all of a sudden, we're seeing these awesome concept cars from Bugatti. Things that start to look more and more like a Veyron. A lot of them still had an 18-cylinder engine. It wasn't until the production Veyron, announced in 2005, that we had that iconic W16. But as early as 2000, FKP had a really lofty goal. He wanted 1,001 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, and to have the drivability and the comfortability of a GT car, almost like a Volkswagen product that you can drive all the time, but it's crazy, crazy fast. Fast forward to 2005, and the world was taken by storm with the Veyron. It was the first 1,000+ horsepower production car. It was the first $1 million+ car. I remember at the time when that car came out, the idea of $1 million car was absolutely insane. Fast forward to Bugatti's Solitaire program. We don't have a price on this new car, but it's probably in the realm of $20 million, just like the Bugatti Brouillard. It's really cool that manufacturers are doing this. Bugatti is creating 2 special cars per year. At Quail, we got to see the Brouillard based on the Mystral. It was absolutely unbelievable. And imagine being able to essentially create your own car using an existing powertrain. So it was powered by the Mystral, but it had a bespoke exterior and interior. Everything was crafted to the likes of the person commissioning the vehicle. And that brings us to this new FKP Homage, which I think is actually way cooler than the Brouillard. And here's why. Let's go to the interior for a second. Bugatti has had a long-term partnership with watch manufacturers. They've been partnering with Parmigiani Fleurier from the beginning of the Veyron all the way up to, I believe, 2019. But the original Veyron clock didn't actually have any branding on it. Now, we've seen collabs with Jacob & Co. We've got the Bugatti Tourbillon watch, the Bugatti Chiron watch, but we haven't seen it implemented into a vehicle. Well, with this, they've done something really, really cool for 2 reasons. Not only is there an Audemars Piguet in the car itself, it's an Audemars Piguet Tourbillon, which is a nod to the newest version of the Bugatti coming out, the Tourbillon. This watch sells right now in the used market for between $280,000 to $330,000, and it's stuck in your dash as an art piece, and you probably will never even look at it to tell the time. That's one of the coolest things in the world. And the engineering behind it is even crazier. So this is a manual wound watch. It needs to be wound to keep going. It's not powered by quartz or batteries. All high-end watches need some sort of winding or to be continuously moved in a watch winder so they can keep going. Several times an hour, the Bugatti actually rotates the watch around inside the dash, allowing it to run perpetually, which is just the coolest thing ever. Now, there's no indication of whether you can remove the watch or not and wear it. That would be really cool. Time will tell. I wouldn't be surprised if that is an option. So let's move on to the FKP Homage. Its stats, its exterior. This is one of the most beautiful hypercars I've ever seen. Now, it's based on the Bugatti Mystral, but it looks very, very similar to a Veyron. There are some key differences, however. Obviously, the Mystral has different proportions. Now, they didn't use a Chiron Supersport because the roof line wouldn't have worked to keep that similar silhouette to the Bugatti Veyron, which I thought was very interesting, using a convertible vehicle to create a hardtop vehicle. But nonetheless, very, very cool and designed by absolute geniuses. Because it has the Mystral, it's got the 8-liter quad turbocharged W16, making 1,578 horsepower in something that looks like an even prettier version of the Veyron. So what are the differences on the exterior? We have a wider horseshoe design in the front, similar to the Tourbillon as well as the Chiron, but it sticks out more three-dimensionally than it did in the Veyron, which creates this really cool protruding cockpit-like effect. We also have modernized headlights that have a similar design to the Veyron, but just make the car legitimately look 20 years newer with nothing other than a headlight change. Now, we do have bigger haunches, which were more reminiscent to the concept car we saw before the actual production Veyron. We also have larger intakes. Obviously, we need more air. It's not 1,001 horsepower. It's 1,578, means you need more airflow. We've also got those massive intakes on the roof of the vehicle, which have been enlarged as well, and is one of the coolest parts of the Bugatti Veyron. Coming around to the side, we've got larger wheels, 20s in the front and 21s in the rear instead of 20s, but they look very reminiscent of the original Veyron wheels. Coming around to the back, we have updated taillights that look more modern, a larger, more aggressive diffuser, larger exhaust pipes, but it's effectively still the same design in the best way possible. The interior has some other cool features. The steering wheel is perfectly round, reminiscent of the one in the Bugatti Veyron. It's so simple, it's timeless. I think this interior and the car, inside and out, is going to age terrifically well. We also have the use of a new fabric, which is introduced on the Tourbillon, and it's only produced in France. It also looks really cool with the different patterns on the seat. The center console has been modernized to look like a Chiron. We also have the drive mode selectors on the wheel itself like a Chiron, but still having that classiness of the Veyron and that old school vibe. There's also a handful of signatures from people like Veyron, a professional racing driver with incredible heritage. The name of the Veyron came from him. We have FKP, of course, and some other people as well. So I'm curious, what do you guys think of this car? Does it make sense to recreate something from the past? Are we going backwards or are we going forwards? In my personal opinion, I think this is becoming one of the coolest eras of all time for the automobile. Now, it really does only affect the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Obviously, they're only making 2 of these cars per year. It's likely $20 million plus, but even just to see it, hopefully see it in person at a car show, maybe Monterey Car Week next year. They're unveiling it at Retromobile in Paris, January 29th to February 1st in person. So if you're in that area, definitely worth checking out. But I think it's really cool what we're seeing. All of a sudden, Porsche is doing recommissions from the factory of Carrera GTs. Then we've got Gordon Murray creating the S1 LM, kind of a reintroduction of the McLaren F1 with modern technology. We have Singer, we have Gunther Works, we have all of these companies basically creating the ultimate version of an analog, more old school car. And I think it's the most brilliant thing that has ever happened. As an automotive enthusiast, as we go more hybridized, more complex, heavier, safer, more technology, more luxury focus, we're kind of starting to lose the plot. And we're stepping away from what makes enthusiast cars truly brilliant. And that's why things like the Gordon Murray T50 are so incredible. But I'm so excited to see a company like Bugatti taking a step back, going back to their heritage, and releasing a new Bugatti Veyron. The next step, in my opinion, they've got to do a new modern interpretation of either the Type 35 or the Type 57 SC Atlantique. That would be one of the coolest things in the world. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.